Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum said on Wednesday that she and Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney had agreed to strengthen trade collaboration, particularly in light of the tariffs from U.S. President Donald Trump, set to go into effect on August 1st.
You ever hear about a $120 billion trade corridor built to completely bypass Trump's tariffs? Yeah, sounds like something out of a political thriller, right? Well, that's exactly what Mexico just did with Canada, and the Orange Man is going absolutely nuts, because this isn't just a detour, it's a direct slap in the face of everything Trump's trade war tried to accomplish. Here's the deal. Mexico has quietly teamed up with Canada to build a massive new trade corridor, worth around $120 billion a year. But this isn't some friendly infrastructure upgrade. It's a geopolitical power move designed to dodge Trump's escalating tariffs on imports from both countries. Think of it like this. While Trump's trying to play hardball with tariff threats, Mexico and Canada just walked around the entire ballpark. No noise, no drama, just strategic finesse. And now, with the U.S. on the verge of imposing sweeping 35% tariffs starting August 1st, this corridor isn't just an economic lifeline. It's a chess move that could redefine the rules of North American trade. The turning point came in mid-July 2025, when Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum and Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney jointly announced the Corridor Initiative. The plan? Launch groundwork before August 1st, right when Trump's 35% tariffs are set to hit. The urgency? Washington's deadline left no room for hesitation. It was now or never. This corridor strategically links Western Canada, British Columbia, and Alberta through U.S. interstates I-15 and I-10 directly to Mexico City. But here's the kicker. They're leveraging the Canamex infrastructure, originally conceived during NAFTA days. It's a legacy pipeline being reborn to exclude the U.S. middleman. This isn't about moving trucks and trains faster. It's about reshaping trade routes to eliminate political risk, especially the kind wrapped in a red MAGA hat. Let's rewind the tape. February-March 2025, Trump, wielding the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, EEPA, slapped 25% tariffs on almost all Canadian and Mexican imports. Steel, aluminum, autos, you name it, it got taxed. Predictably, this sparked a new wave of trade tensions across the continent. March 2025, Canada clapped back. Trudeau's successor, PM Mark Carney, announced 25% retaliatory tariffs on up to $29 billion in U.S. goods, targeting everything from agricultural exports to tech components. Mexico, though, they played it cool. No tariffs. Instead, Sheinbaum sent a message of diplomacy, strengthening border control efforts, deploying National Guard troops, and trying to earn goodwill in Washington. April to June 2025, U.S. tariffs remained on hold for USMCA-compliant goods, but only temporarily. Trump warned, if no new deal is reached by August 1st, all bets are off. 35% across the board, that was the red line. Mid-July 2025, Mexico and Canada made their move. Sheinbaum met Carney in Alberta, and behind closed doors they activated the old Canamex framework, upgrading routes, customs protocols, and investment protections. We're not escalating tensions, Sheinbaum said. We're securing our futures. Translation? We're done waiting on the U.S. The former president used emergency powers to bypass traditional trade rules, sidestepping USMCA, the agreement he once touted as a historic win. Canadian manufacturers feared factory shutdowns, Mexican farmers faced losing U.S. market access, and cross-border industries like auto and aerospace stood at risk of collapse if supply chains fractured. Mexico took a calculated path. Strengthen border security, show commitment to stopping fentanyl trafficking, keep the conversation open, but be ready to pivot. Meanwhile, Canada built contingency tariffs and fast-tracked trade permits with Mexico, India, and the EU. The Canamex project dates back to the early 90s. Originally built under NAFTA, it included highways, rail links, and telecommunications infrastructure. The goal then? Seamless trade through North America. The new goal? Seamless trade without Trump. For the U.S., customs duties could drop by up to $69 billion over 5 years if the corridor is fully operational. States like Texas, Arizona, and California, previously bustling with tariff-driven traffic, stand to lose millions in transit revenue, jobs, and supply contracts. For industry, American auto manufacturers depending on cross-border parts, disrupted. Midwest farmers shipping grains and beef, cut off from Mexico's growing demand. Energy exports from Texas refineries threatened by Mexico-Canada joint procurement programs. For Mexico and Canada, political wins. Carney's approval rating spiked 6 points after the announcement. Sheinbaum gained leverage in upcoming elections. Both countries now position themselves as indispensable trade partners, not just to each other, but to Asia and Europe too. By the numbers, the trade corridor is projected to handle over $120 billion annually, mostly in autos, agricultural goods, critical minerals, and clean energy components. If fully expanded by 2028, it could reroute nearly 35% of Canada-Mexico-US freight traffic outside US borders. Fiber optic upgrades are being discussed to digitally track trade flows, minimizing customs delays and allowing for real-time supply chain monitoring. What's next? A proposed North Belt Agreement is in the works, expected to be signed by September 2025, which would formalize shared infrastructure investments and customs pre-clearance systems. U.S. response? Washington is still in reactive mode. As of late July, no new deal has been reached. Trump has doubled down on the tariffs, but has yet to issue formal guidance. As of July 28, 2025, both governments have publicly announced the corridor. Planning teams are conducting route optimization, infrastructure audits, and legal assessments. Tariffs are set to spike August 1st unless a miracle happens in Washington. If the corridor launches as planned, it could trigger a global shift in supply chains, force U.S. companies to move operations to Mexico or Canada to stay inside the USMCA umbrella, open doors for foreign investments that see the U.S. as too risky for long-term manufacturing. Logistics giants like CN Rail, Kansas City Southern, and Ferromex are already in talks for expanded freight operations. Analysts call it the Panama Canal of land trade, a route that could bypass not just tariffs but political chaos. So here's what's really happening. Mexico just teamed up with Canada to create a $120 billion trade superhighway that bypasses Trump's tariffs. It's not just an economic maneuver, it's a strategic flex that exposes how fragile U.S. trade dominance really is when partners start working around it. This isn't just about avoiding tariffs, it's about rewriting the script of continental trade. So now the big question, will Washington retaliate, renegotiate, or just watch it all happen? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Smash that like button if you're loving this deep dive. Subscribe for more sharp takes. And stay tuned, because the trade war just left the U.S. behind.